We're here at the Thoroughbred Heritage Horse Show at Rosemont Farm in Spotsylvania, Virginia, to talk to different owners, trainers, and professionals in the horse industry about what it's like to take one of these American thoroughbreds from the racetrack to the show ring.
I grew up riding and showing mostly thoroughbreds, and in the late 80s, early 90s, warmbloods started taking over the sport horse competitions. And the thoroughbreds were really kind of dying out, and now there's a surge of thoroughbreds coming back. People are trying to find second careers for them, and I really like thoroughbreds, and I think there's a place for them.
This is Runaway Ben, is his jockey club name, and we just call him Ben. I broke this horse for a client of mine to race, and I break, close to 100 horses a year, and this is the only horse I ever asked back. I loved galloping him in the mornings, and he went off to the racetrack and he won about $130,000, and I didn't think I'd ever see him again. But one day the owner called me and he said, "You still want that horse?" And I did not need another horse, but as much as I loved him, I said, bring him on. So, and he's kind of gotten me back showing, which I haven't done in a long time. So he's kind of a special one.
These horses are magnificent. I like to refer to them as like the sports car of the equine world. They are amazing. They have great heart. I think if you get a great thoroughbred, you can't beat it with any other breed out there. And I just want people to see that. They say thoroughbreds, oh my God, it's all crazy, because all they see are the ones on TV going to the track.
This is the real deal. His jockey club name is Midnight Perspiration. That's often flubbed up at the horse shows. He's 21 years old, and he did not have a very successful race career. He raced 7 times at Penn National Racetrack in Pennsylvania. He won a total of $527 in his race career, and he now does a little bit of everything. He's the most versatile horse that I could ever ask for or look for. He does hunters very well, the derbies very well. He does dressage, western pleasure, the hunter pleasure. He trail rides, and he has done some of my lessons at the farm.
They're the smartest, hardest working horses I know. I mean, they always come out looking for a job, and they always want to do something with you, and their brains are always ticking, and they're always looking for the next puzzle to figure out, and they really, really enjoy having a job, and it just makes them so much fun and so pleasant to work with.
We've done everything. We've just started showing the hunters. We just like to have fun. We fox hunted through the winter. We did a hunter pace 2 weeks ago, a trail ride. I took some jumper lessons. I don't feel as competitive as far as point chasing anymore, and I just enjoy getting out with friends and having a good horse to do pretty much anything with, so that's what we do.
We breed them right here in America. They were invented in America, the American thoroughbred, and it's the most versatile horse out there. They fox hunt, they event, they're in the jumper ring, they're in the dressage ring. Hilda Gurney, was it? Rode Keen to the Olympics, a thoroughbred off the track. They do sport therapy, wounded warriors, everything. They're just so incredibly versatile that, you don't need to go to Europe and import a horse. We got them right here. Right. It's perfect.
A lot of people question why I'm getting behind a little more the thoroughbreds instead of the warmbloods, because people prefer typically warmbloods at the A show level. And I think it's unfortunate that those people do not take the time to see the qualities that thoroughbreds have. They're very different than warmbloods. And the thoroughbreds, sure, they can be stubborn. That's, the biggest complaint is, oh, they're so stubborn, or they're hot. And I think it depends on how you handle them and how they're trained. I think a warmblood can be stubborn and hot too. So I don't think you should base certain characteristics on a breed. I think people need to give thoroughbreds a chance. They're scopy, they have so much heart, they have a lot of pride in what they do. They're athletic, they last a long time. They do not break down as quickly as warmbloods. And I also think it's really cool to see their lineage and follow that. And again, it's an American thing. It's part of the American sport. And I like it.
The best part about Thoroughbreds is that they have a heart of gold. They will do anything that you ask of them. They are up for anything, especially this horse. Challenges, they sometimes have a lot of quirks. They don't like tight places, going in and out of stalls because of the race gates. They can be a little spooky, especially like when you take your young horse to its first horse show and you're in the undersaddle class and everybody starts trotting. They think it's like the races again. So that's probably the biggest challenge that I've come across.
The one thing I tell everybody is you'll get the horse and then you may regret it afterwards. You might say, oh, this is too hard, and you're going to go through a bunch of bumps and a bunch of struggles trying to get them used to going out, and they'll get hot, they'll get upset about things, but it's so worth it in the end. When you get them retrained and you go through all of that, you have the best animal, you know, to do some great things for, that you didn't have to go out and spend 60 grand on. And you can be proud of, you know, taking one from nothing and making them, you know, into something pretty cool. So
I had a little mare, Arrested Gator Girl was her name, and she was just so much fun to ride. She was only 15-1, but she was just a dynamo. And I fox hunted her for 2 years and gave her to a little girl in North Carolina who's now pony clubbing and eventing her all up and down the East Coast. So she's doing well. I've sent several out to be successful fox hunters. A couple of them have been show hunters. So they're just great. They're wonderful.
Consider them. I think a lot of people think that they get into the whole crazy thoroughbred, they're hot, they're too goofy to ride for an amateur and things like that, and it's just the farthest from the truth. They are just so smart, and so many of them come with such a good, stable mind because of everything they experienced on the track, and it makes them really great for anybody, but especially amateurs, because they just really try hard.
when you get a horse off the track, you know, a lot of people say, I rescued this horse and I saved him from the racing world. And I don't think a lot of people have been to the backside of a racetrack and seen how amazing these horses get taken care of. I mean, the grooms, the owners, the trainers, I mean, these people will feed their horse before they feed themselves, and they spend every morning, evening, day with these horses, grooming them. They get bathed every day, you know, rubbed every day, get the absolute best feed, supplements, everything. So, you know, they're not rescues, they're just amazing animals that are just maybe ready for another career.
It takes time and it takes patience. Most of them, if they're coming directly off the racetrack, need to be let down. Generally, I give them 6 months to a year. And then you need to really research the breed and find people around you that have experience with the animals, have worked with the animals. And everybody I've talked to has been more than willing to help and share their knowledge. And it's just been wonderful.
They just have to be really patient. I mean, thoroughbreds can get a little bit excited, they get a little bit nervous, they're a little sensitive, but overall, if they're very patient and, you know, they stick with the horse, and that's the best advice that I have for them, and that's what all of my lessons, you know, consist of in training rides, is just patience and repetitive exercises.
Especially for amateur riders, get help. Find a good trainer to help you. You know, the reason this horse is who he is because of all of the great help I've gotten through the years with him, and it's just, I think it's made a big difference. And a lot of times people try to do it on their own, and I think they get frustrated. And I think the best thing you can ever do is just find somebody who understands a thoroughbred, and it doesn't matter what discipline you're doing, they're out there. Even for dressage, there's dressage trainers out there who understand thoroughbreds, and just get good help to help you bring them along. And that's the best thing you can do.
As a racehorse trainer, I've been one of the leading trainers down at Colonial Downs for the last few years that it ran. And that's my main thing. And a lot of the horses that are good on the track tend to be good ones afterwards. You know, they have a lot of heart, they're sound, they're normally big, balanced, nice horses. And like with this guy, he went to the track and he did very well, and now he's doing very well in a second career too. So I think, you know, they kind of parlay together, but you know, you can still get a nice one, you know, that maybe wasn't cut out as being competitive on the track, and they can still be a great horse afterwards.
I would highly recommend them. There's a lot of them out there. They're easy to find, and they're honestly the best horses, in my opinion, to have.
Amy's farm is on unison.